Alright, so now what we did was we understood how to find out gradients and what is required to find out gradients. Now I will give you examples, or we'll do some questions through which we know how to find out gradients, right? So before this, what we used to do was we had 2 points given to us and then we had to find the gradient. But now we just have simple lines over here. If you see, we have lines given to us and we have to find out gradients from them. So we'll use this graph and we'll see how we can find out gradients according to these. So first things first, let's take the green line. Let's take any 2 points from this green line, any 2 points, right? So any 2 points might be, let's take 1 point as this and let's take 1 point as this. So if we take this point, then this would be 4 and 3, and if we take this point, it will be -1 and -4 respectively. Sorry, my bad. -4 and -1. So -4 and -1. Remember, x-axis comes first, y-axis comes later, right? So let's say this is point A and let's say this is point B. What do we do now is we simply take the formula. What is the formula for m, or gradient? It is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So what is y2 over here? Y2 is -1, so -1 minus 3. Y1 is 3 over x2 is -4 and minus x1 is 4. So this gives me -4 over -8. Minus cancels out. 4 ones are, 4 twos are. So my gradient, or my m, for this particular line, which is the green line, is 1 over 2. And I know this is my correct answer. I'll give you 1 minute to figure out why is this my correct answer. I absolutely am sure that my gradient is correct. Why am I sure? Alright, time's up. So, why am I sure? Is because if you see, this green line is an upward sloping line, right? So if this is an upward sloping line, then we already discussed that whenever there's an upward sloping line, the gradient should always be in positive. So if we see over here, first we were getting negative values or negative numbers, but then when we equate it and the minuses get cancelled, then we see that our gradient comes in a positive number, because of which we know now that our gradient is absolutely correct. So m is half over here. Now exactly the same way, try the same formula, try the same method, and let's try finding out the gradient for B. Okay, so one more thing before we move forward. Let's try this green line with some other 2 points, right? So a lot of my students, they also question me that, sir, would the gradient come exactly the same if we use some other points? So let's try that. This time, let's take this point, which is 2 and 2. So x is 2, y is 2. And let's take this point, which is -6 and -2. -6 and -2. So this is again on the green line only. What we are assuming, or what we are thinking, is that our answer would again be the same as half. So let's try that out. -2 and 2. So y2 minus y1, x2 minus x1. So y2 is -2 and y1 is 2. So -2 minus 2 over -6 is my x1 x2 is -6 and x1 is 2. So -2. So again, -4 over -8, minus cancels out, ones are, twos are, and voila, my answer is exactly the same for some other points. So which basically hence proves that whatever point you take on the green line, the answer or the gradient would absolutely be the same, right? Now what you have to do is, you have to figure out the gradient for this blue line and for this purple line, I want to say, yeah, purple line. Find out the gradient and give me the answers. If there are any troubles or problems, do let me know. I'm assuming that as this purple line is an upward sloping curve, so the gradient would be in positive, and the blue line is downward sloping, so the gradient would be negative. But you will tell me what is happening, right? If it does not happen that way, we'll come back to it and we'll see what we're supposed to do. Alright, so over here we have a few more questions related to gradient. There are a few more graphs given to us. Try to find out gradients for these as well. These should be pretty simple for you guys as well now. Once we know, or if you have seen all the lecture, the whole lecture, and if you have seen how we did the question before. So you can take 1 point as -3 and 3, and 1 point you can take over here as 0 and 3, so -3 and 3, and over here you can take 1 point as 0 and -3. So try these points in gradient and see what we're getting. Over here hopefully you should get a negative gradient because this is in minus. So let's figure this out, let's figure these out, let's try these, and then we can move forward. If you have any questions, obviously you can let me know, right?